Hello everybody, this is Scotia. I'm just doing a different type of video today. It's going to be more freeform. Usually I have a script which I read off, but I'm not going to do that because I just kind of want to just talk a bit about something that I've only recently just discovered that is kind of worrying. But so if this video sounds different or sounds weirder than usual, it's because it's completely different. But let me know what you think about these types of videos. If you enjoy me more rambling, then I'll definitely try and do more videos like this. Yeah, today I just want to talk about something that only recently just happened, and it involves the recent released character story for Rose in Street Fighter 5. So if you haven't watched or played that character story yet, I would suggest, pausing the video now, going back to watch it or play it, and then coming back. But yeah, so I'm just gonna get right into it and kind of go over what happens in that story, or the most important parts, and why I'm now quite concerned about the future of Street Fighter. So to go over the most important parts of Rose's story, because I actually didn't think most of it was that interesting until near the end where she fights G, and I was expecting a lot from Rose's story because in the past she's been so kind of linked with G, and I've always felt like if Rose was to have a character story in the game, we'd find out more about G, and we didn't. But so basically what happens, the most important part is Rose fights G, and then during the fight they both kind of happen to see this vision that we don't see, but it's this vision that G apparently has already known about, and which is why he's so weird and insistent about all of his weird things, which I don't remember now, unfortunately. But if you've watched or seen G in Street Fighter 5, you'll know his characteristics. But Rose sees this vision for the first time, and she's very afraid and frightened by it. And she basically says that the world is doomed, and they are now beyond the point of being able to save it. Like, there's nothing they can do. The world is gonna die, and they're all gonna die. There's nothing they can do, and she's very shaken by it. So she goes home. She has a bath for some reason. I guess you can say it's a JoJo's reference if you want. Nice. And she's thinking about ways that she can stop this vision from happening, the world ending. And she basically comes to the conclusion that if she can somehow let herself in the past know that this thing is going to happen, Rose from the past can prevent it from happening. And the story ends in this very particular way. You can tell it's very done. It's very much done with intent, that they want to end it on this particular way to make the player, put two and two together. Because I've already kind of talked about this online, and I've already seen people being like, "Oh, well, I don't think it really means anything." It's like, no, of course it means something. You don't end something like that if you don't want it to mean something. And basically it ends with Rose saying that if she can do this, if she can send herself or let herself in the past know that this vision, that this vision of the world ending is a thing and that it might happen, she can start it all from she can restart it all. And it says she can restart it from zero. And if you don't know, in Japan the Street Fighter Alpha games are called Street Fighter Zero, and this is a very intentional phrasing because obviously starting from Alpha would be a bit too obvious. But basically what I think this is implying, and I think I'm correct in this, I could be completely wrong though, because who knows, but I think what this is implying is that either Street Fighter 6 or a game after Street Fighter 6 is going to in some way end up being a reboot of the series from Alpha, and I don't like that at all. I don't really talk about myself so much on this channel, like what I like, what I don't like, or my particular I really like this game from this franchise, but I don't really like this game. I've kind of, so far I've kept it very much kind of official in a way. I've kind of just gone, okay, here's the story of this game. I might not like the game, but here's the story of it. But if you know me from, you know, forums and stuff, you'll know that I very much like the Street Fighter 3 series. It's Third Strike in particular is one of my favourite games of all time, easily my favourite fighting game of all time, and I very much like the Street Fighter 3 series and the story in those games, and just the whole change up and the shake up in the roster and just the whole feel and vibe. I really love it. And one of my biggest kind of issues with Street Fighter, especially modern Street Fighter, is the refusal to kind of go towards Street Fighter 3 and eventually past it. And I've been quite pleased with how Street Fighter 5's kind of been leading up to Street Fighter 3. But this would just be awful. I really can't think of any other worse way. You know, I would rather this series just constantly just kept doing prequels to Street Fighter 3 than just do a reboot that just gets rid of everything from Alpha onwards. I just think it's such a lazy type of storytelling to me, because the best way I can compare it is Mortal Kombat 9, which is actually coincidentally 10 years old today. The story of that game was that basically in the last game before Armageddon, things didn't go well, everybody died, and then they did a reboot. Raiden sent himself a message to himself in the past, letting you know that, like, you know, things are going to go bad if we keep doing things the way we're doing them. And then we go through the story of MK1, 2 and 3 and change stuff. And, you know, you've probably played MK9, and this is very much sounding extremely like MK9, like where this is going with Rose's story, and it's very concerning to me, because I don't want to lose Street Fighter 3. Like, I don't want that game to be non-canon anymore. I don't want Alpha to be non-canon. I don't like Street Fighter 2 or Street Fighter 4's story, but I don't want them to not be canon either, because it's all a part of the legacy. And I don't know why you would get rid of the legacy of Street Fighter just for a reboot, you know. And you'll always get people that say, oh, Street Fighter's story is so nonsensical, it's a mess. And it's like, you know, it's not going to be like a Last of Us, you know, type deal. You know, I don't think we're ever going to get a fighting game that has as much focus put on the story as like a major AAA action adventure, you know, drama, fucking think piece, whatever you want to call it. You know, we're not going to get to that level, and that's fine. I don't think we need to get to that level. But I think if you kind of care much, like think about it more and kind of like actually put some care into looking into it, I don't think the story of this series is particularly bad. It's not great, and it's definitely had some lows, but I don't think it's, you know, worth just sacrificing. Just go, oh, we'll just hit the reboot button. And this is an issue that like seems to now be happening quite a lot with fighting games, mostly with NRS, who make the Mortal Kombat series. You know, if you played MK11, you'll know that like we're potentially facing another reboot, and it really just annoys me. It saddens me, like, because I've wanted to get to Street Fighter 3 so much, like to get past that and finally just move past it, and like now we potentially might not even get to it. We could just completely erase it, and it's so frustrating that like Capcom's just cowardice, you know, like they're just refusal. They're absolute, like, it's like, to me it just seems like they're so afraid of Street Fighter 3, and it's so stupid to me, because everybody thinks Street Fighter 3's plot is nonsensical and it makes no sense and it's just a mess, and it's just reboot it, you know, or just, you know, scrap it, just continue. It's like I haven't done videos on the other Street Fighter games yet. I might at this point. I don't know if I actually want to anymore, but I'll kind of get to that in a minute. But I've spent years looking into the games and kind of having a look at the stories and what I think of each one. And like, you know, it might be because I'm just a Street Fighter 3 fanboy, which I am. I have no problem admitting that. But to me, Street Fighter 3's story is honestly like one of the more simple ones. And it always makes me laugh when somebody's like, oh, Street Fighter 3 story makes no sense, it should just, like, Street Fighter 6 should be like a reboot of 3, you know, and it's like, why? Like, what part of Street Fighter 3 is confusing enough that we need to just erase it? And there isn't. It's because people don't know the story, because most people didn't play Street Fighter 3, and so they're just like, oh, I don't know, I didn't play it, so it's not worth keeping. It's like, it's so dumb. But it's like, Capcom just feeds into this stuff, and it just annoys me so much. I could go on forever about why I hate this and why this really just makes me worried about the future of Street Fighter, but I'm already at like 9 minutes, so I'll probably wrap this up. So yeah, this is just kind of like a ramble / rant video. I just kind of wanted to get my thoughts across, because already I've kind of like put my thoughts on forums and stuff, and I just keep getting like, well, maybe it's not, I don't think it's like, no, like, even if it isn't a reboot, even if it doesn't go back to reboot, we're still getting time fuckery, which is bad. But like, the best case scenario at this point is that, I don't even know, like, I don't know how we can do this and have the series still be the same. Like, I just don't see it happening. So I'm very sad, I'm very annoyed, I'm slightly angry at this decision to suddenly start teasing that we're going to go back in time and reboot the games from Alpha. And maybe it'll work out better. Maybe the best case scenario from this is that from this reboot onwards, we can just have Street Fighter where nobody, is limited by timelines. We can have everybody. We can have Alpha, Ken, and Sean in a game, and like, that makes sense. Or we can have like Rashid and like, I don't know, Retsu from Street Fighter 1 in a game, and just that be fine. Like, these two characters, maybe have Alpha Charlie back and not have him be held down by being dead. There could be positives from this. It's tough to say how they'll do it. Honestly, my expectations from Street Fighter's story have been very up and down throughout Street Fighter 5. I felt like they've done incredibly well at times, and others I felt like they've just completely dropped the ball. This is looking like it might be the latter, in all honesty. But yeah, I'm very sad for Street Fighter, the whole legacy of the series. I'm very sad for Street Fighter 3 that, it might never get the justice it deserves of getting a game that moves past it. I'm just confused why they feel the need to do this. I don't get it. I don't get why they're just so afraid of Street Fighter 3, why they just are so reluctant to just move past it. So yeah, that's kind of my rambling thoughts. I don't have really anything else to say. Oh yeah, I did mention earlier. So I kind of said earlier that, like, I don't know if I was going to continue doing Street Fighter. I probably will. I'll say this now. The next part of Street Fighter I was planning to cover was going to be the Alpha games, because they're my second favourite part of Street Fighter. I'm going to do Street Fighter in a very weird order, because with other franchises I've done, I think mainly King of Fighters, I've done them in order, and King of Fighters is going to be my focus, because my goal is to have every King of Fighters game covered by the time 15 comes out. So I'm kind of focusing more on 15 at the moment. I'm focusing more on King of Fighters at the moment. I'm currently working on a video for 2003 and 11, but I'm probably hold on to that one a bit, because I only just redid 94, 95, 96 and 97. So I do have another series planned. I did say in a previous comment on a previous video that my next video, the next episode of the What Happened In series was going to be on a new game, and that's still planned. I don't know when I'm going to do it. I'll probably start it after I finish editing 2003 and 11 for KOF. So I did say May would be the month I do a new series. I plan on still having it be in May. I don't know if it will be in May. So if it's not in May, I'm sorry. I'll try though, but it depends how quickly I can edit the 03 and 11 video and get that done to then start working on this next series. I'll give you a tease for the next one. It'll be a Western fighting game, so it won't be a Japanese one. So yeah, that's just kind of the video then. Let me know what you thought of this rambling video. Yeah, I'll need to process this, and I'll see how things go. So yeah, this is a very sad Scotia. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you down the road. Thank you.